In the 90s, when Good Enough, which was our biggest hit, was in the charts, we were asked to do Top of the Pops, we were asked to do Nebworth, all on this same week. And we'd already agreed to go to Bosnia, because Bosnia was part of Europe and we were doing a European tour, and we went to Bosnia, which was an amazing experience. But like, you know, obviously, you know, most people would go, what, you know, swear word, admit, and what the hell, you know, why didn't you go and do Top of the Pops with Nebworth? And it was like, you know, you've got to do what feels right, you know, and I think if you're, you know, you got to do what you know, in music, you got to do what feels right for you, you know. If I'd have done those things, I'd have felt like I'd let people down, and it wasn't, I'd let myself down if I hadn't gone to Bosnia, because it was like a really scary experience, because war had just ended. There'd no bands had ever been there since the war, in '91, and we got to Sarajevo, all our gear was stopped. We went to, you know, we had to race through roads where a week before people had been ambushed and shot, and it was really scary going over pontoon bridges, stopping to have a pee, and you know, everyone going, get out of there, it's mined, and it was just like, my God, you live on the edge of the world. When we got to Sarajevo, there was a curfew at 10 o'clock, and there was tanks on the street, and the radio station said, we want you to come to B91 radio, which is in Sarajevo, which had been running all the way through the war. And they said, come over to the radio station at midnight. And we're like, midnight? That's 2 hours after the curfew. And it's like, we know a way. And I'm like, shit! I feel like I'm in one of those old war films. Yeah. It was amazing, like, you know, it was amazing. So we had to like sneak around these alleyways, go into this bunker, and we found this radio station and chatted about why we were there and, you know, what was going on in England, and the fact that these people had been living on loaves, you know, crusts of bread for like 2 years because there'd been like snipers on the hills. And it's like you sort of, you realise about the, you know, humanity. Yeah. And then you come back to England.
That
and
must have affected you personally.
Oh, massively. Yeah. It affected me before it, because I'd read a book about Bosnia beforehand, and I actually think that Good Enough was kind of about what I'd been feeling about when I was reading this book about what had been going on in Bosnia. And I suppose there's always like a sort of curiosity to find out if that's true or not. But I think Good Enough was about that. It was like kind of like, you know, a sort of...
It's a real feel factor song.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it was inspired by Bob Marley, and that's why we went to Jamaica to do the video, because it was like, you know, literally it's, you know, especially now when you think about it, it's really hard to write happy pop. Positive song. It's the hardest thing to do. Yeah. Writing miserable, melancholy, I'm sad, someone's left me, I left my job, I'm depressed, I'm not very happy, I'm not good looking, my hair looks crap. You could endless. Try and think of one good thing to say. I drove well today when I drove to work. I enjoyed that coffee that I picked up in the petrol station. The sugar was just right. You know, you can do it, but it's, to be positive is 10 times harder than...
Well, exactly. That's another question about the songwriting. I mean, listening to those songs, Good Enough, Staying Out for the Summer, In a Room, I mean, these songs are like 20 years old. When you hear them...
I suppose, yeah, 20 years old.
20, yeah. But when you hear them today, they've transferred over completely dateless.
Yeah, they haven't aged, because I think...
Why is that, do you think?
I can tell you exactly why that is. And that is because... you know, at that time, you know, we were listening to a lot of, like, you know, Simon and Garfunkel, the Beatles, or who, the Beach Boys, very much so, Crosby, Stills and Nash. We were just like searching through history, Woodstock, you know, the band, looking at all these bands. That's how we got in. We got, you know, by watching the Woodstock movie. We used to do a Woodstock weekend at our house in Hounslow. We used to put Woodstock on. Everyone used to like come around and party, and we'd just like get to see, you know, Santana and Joe Cocker singing Little Help from My Friends, and go, wow, this is really great. We were in London at the start of the rave scene. It didn't mean anything to me. It's just like people dancing to electronic music. I remember going to a rave and, you know, taking drugs. It was just not great. Well, another question. But anyway, I remember going down to the next day, taking all my posters for the Dodgy Club, which is how we started, down to the machine to be photocopied, and still dancing to the photocopier. Do you know what I mean? That's, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sat there going, like, I can feel myself going, like, to a bloody photocopier. So I love electronics, I love electronic music, but, you know, I think that we were trying to do something timeless. So we were trying to do something that was really part of our culture, which was part of, like, you know, learning about British music, learning about American music of that time, psychedelic period, the free love, the peace movement, then on to the Rolling Stones in the 70s, till about 73. But if you listen to those records, they are also timeless because they haven't got dated sounds. No. You listen to a Madonna record, you can almost tell them what year they came out because she just followed the trends. So, like, you know, you can listen to Holiday and go, that's like 84, you know, or whatever. You listen to, you know, what's that one when she does the dance? Groove to the Vogue. You could say that was the 90s, you know what I mean? Yeah. You can, so her music has has gone with the ages, but it's a reminiscent thing, it's a nostalgic thing. So, you know, yeah, dodgy music hasn't aged in that way, but there's still a nostalgia attached to it because obviously, you know, that's what it was. But I think we were like quite pioneering in that sense, you know, that's what we were put here to do. So we just followed that and was true to it, really. But I would say I was probably more based in a tradition of a proper musician, you know, or a true musician, where, like, it's not about what I do, it's about what I sound like and what we sound like as a collective, the harmonies, the band, you know, the fact that we are really into music and, you know, this is what I do for my life. I think melody, I think lyrics, I think a lot. It's my job, you know, it's like my job to think a lot. I might be quite opinionated about certain things, but, you know, I'm also sort of like, I want everybody else to be free to think what they want to think, you know, really. And it's like, you know, it's sort of like when I'm being governed by something that I decided to do when I was 20 years old. I'm 51 now, and I'm still living something, a decision that I made when I was 20, which I'm trying to make sense of it. But I really enjoy it, and I'm really thankful to that 20-year-old me that was brave enough to go, you know what, there's more to life than factories and kids, and, you know, at that age, there's more to life than that, you know. There's, you know, who knows what we're capable of. I was shit. I was a terrible musician when I was younger. Even when I moved to London, I could barely play. But I had something that made me want to do that. So,
coming back from Sarajevo...
Yeah.
How did you find things when you came back to England with the music scene? And
well, really strange. London was different to everywhere else, but where I'm from in Worcestershire, well, I was born in Redditch. I went back to Redditch like a week later to go and see my parents. I remember driving round at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday evening and thinking, where is everyone? There's no curfew, but no one's out. And it was just like, when I was in Bosnia, you could feel people pushing the fingers of the second hand to make it 6 o'clock in the morning so they could go out again. There was no curfew in this country, yet people were, like, not out. And it was like, yeah, you sort of, quite weird, actually.
Did that affect your songwriting in a way?
I suppose, I think that was, yeah, I think so. I think, you know, there's, like, In a Room is like sort of a song that even then was dealing with the fact that you go on an underground train, you know, and I'm from the Midlands, and when I went to London, first of all, I made a thing of, like, after a while, I got trapped into this London no smiling, no looking thing, and then in the end, I just went, I'm not happy. I'm going to start smiling at people and being just like, all right, you know, if I see someone, morning, you know, saying morning to someone, that's what I do, you know. But in London, it tries to drain that out of you. So I just felt that, like, the sort of human thing was being taken out of me, and I was just becoming some commuter or someone going from A to B, and everything in between was just you know, passing me. And so that was In a Room, really, and it was like sort of like the whole if we are together again means, you know, if we are going to be collective as humans again and have the same sort of, you know, goal, you know, where we're going, you know, where are we going? Once we knew where we were going, I'm not sure we do anymore. I think everyone's going in different directions.
And going back to the camper van, how many hours of flying lessons did you need to blast off? And it was such a crazy idea, that video. It's great, isn't it?
The video guy came in and it was like, you know, staying out for the summer is like my departure from the Midlands, leaving Rover, leaving my girlfriend, leaving my past, leaving everything behind and moving to London on a sort of like, that's where you got to go as a musician. And so when some video director, I didn't even know the sort of, you know, it was just a song to me, and then someone said, oh, that's going to be a single, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the next thing is there's a video person, he puts a brief and he goes, yeah, I want you in a flying camper van. I'm like, right, okay. You know, you want to be taken as a serious artist. You know, I like Lou Reed, do you know what I mean? And like, you know, I like serious artists, and it's like someone comes up and because you're in a band, you sort of like go, oh, okay then, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
I think it's just got the whole vibe of the song.
Yeah,
everything's just.
No, I think it's
well
good.
together.
I think it's good. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been anything that I would even come close to if I'd have written something for a video treatment. But that's a good thing sometimes. It's a good thing to be at. I think you need other people to bring things out, and humour is a great way of doing that, bringing things out of people.